they are in a new place. So it's good. That's something I always dreamed of. I always visualize what given would feel like, given to people who have given to me, what that would feel like. I always dreamed of just showing up one day and be like, here. I always visualized good things. I always visualize victory, success, abundance. I visualized it all, and it all happened. If you have a clear picture in your head of something is going to happen, a clear belief in that it will happen no matter what, then nothing can stop it. You know what I mean? It is destined to happen, and that's what happens. You know what I mean? It's perfect. Fighting myself, you know what I mean? Because you are fighting yourself. There is no opponent. You know what I mean? It's you versus you, and let's say I'm fighting myself in there. I'm gonna beat myself. Not even martial arts. Life, you know what I mean? It's always you versus you. If you're competing against other people, you know what I mean? Competing against others, and you're gonna become bitter. Eventually, you'll become bitter. But if you compete against yourself, you'll become better. There are no restrictions. There are no limits. There's no one trying to get something from me, or trying to make me do this, or make me do that, or send me here, or send me there, or stop me from going full. I'm free. I go in and do as I please. This is my time now. So it's a beautiful experience, and it's almost an out of body experience, and it becomes very, very addictive. So that's what you're seeing here. I'm addicted to that feeling, and I will do anything to get in there and get that feeling again. I truly believe we are all equal as human beings. If we are obsessed with something and we truly pursue our passion with everything we have, regardless of anything else, if you are obsessed, uh, work hard, put in the time, you will succeed. And that is a philosophy that I carry, my coaches carry, and to see LeBron James, who's like a mega superstar over here and a phenomenal athlete, share um, that belief is inspiring right back to me. It shows that we are thinking correct. You know, this is hard work. This is an obsession. Nothing can beat hard work. If you're doing something and you're not interested or you have no passion for it, you should truly follow your passion. I'm not doing this for this. I'm not doing this for fake acting and pretending I can. You know what I mean? Trying to give emotion to some guy that wants emotion from me for a shot. I can't do that. I don't do this for that. But I understand that it's a double-edged sword and you must do that. I do it for the competition. Step foot inside that octagon. Have that feeling of freedom. So that is why I say I don't feel pressure in there. I do not. I feel free in there. No, there is no excuse. You know what I mean? It's like I've been beat before. You know what I mean? I've lost MMA fights. I've lost boxing fights. I've lost so many fights in the gym. You know, I lose all the time. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. If you, any true martial artist will know, in order to succeed at this game, you must lose a fucking load of times. You know what I mean? You must lose many times. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. We all have the same emotions. We have all won and we have all lost. It's a sport. It is what it is, you know. Just get on with it. Look to learn from it. You know, the day you stop trying to learn is the day you start losing, you know what I mean? So I'm always gonna learn regardless of the result. You know what I mean? Win or lose, I will take something from it all. And you know the way people say you learn more from your losses and things like that. That is true. You learn a lot from your losses, but as well as that, you learn from your wins. People can say, let's say you beat a guy, and you're at the beating that guy. You're a winner now. You know what I mean? You're a winner. So now I get to take the foot off the pedal. I don't need to learn so much. I'm at the beating this guy. I'm a winner. You know what I mean? That's gonna stop you. That can take over people, especially in this game. In the when you're signed to the UFC and there's all media things going on and there's people looking for pictures and shit, that can take over. That can make you feel like you're bigger than you are. You know what I mean? That happens to guys. You ever see guys that I see guys all the time coming in that are around this company since day one. Their performances just stay the same. They stagnate. Their performances stagnate. Then they get even worse. You know, they arrive on for the fight out of shape, not looking in shape, barely made weight, sluggish. You know what I mean? That's not gonna be me. I stay ready. I'm always in shape. You know what I mean? You're not gonna catch me out of shape. Win or lose, I'm gonna be ready to go. No ego. You know, you can't have an ego in this game. We've all won. We've all lost. It is what it is. Just keep going, doing the thing. Keep working hard. I'm a cocky motherfucker. But if you come in, you get me. If you come in and you get me, I'll stand before you. I'll stand before everyone and say, you got me. I'll get you next time. And that's it. Every human being, everyone in here at some stage, we face loss. We've all lost something. You know, yeah, we all know how a loser on the night feels because we have all lost at one point or other in our lives. You need to stop putting your hand out. Everyone wants handouts. Everyone wants things for free. Or everyone, you know what I'm saying? You've got to put in the work. You've got to grind. You've got to go through the struggle and you've got to get it. If you deserve it, go get it. You know, don't complain, don't cry. Get the fucking work and go get it. I've been listening to laughter all my career. I've been listening to them laugh my whole career. They've been laughing. What? An Irishman win a Cage Warriors world title? Hell no. You serious? An Irishman? An Irishman win a fight in the UFC? Hell no. Laughs all around. An Irish, okay, you gotta win. Now he wants to win a world title? Hell no, he's all talk. He's all hype. He's a joke. Laughter all around at the Joker. Then the Joker goes and wins the world title. Now he wants to win a second world title. More laughter. Listen, the sound of laughter and the sound of doubt motivates me. So I'm enjoying that. I seek that. I don't feel no doubt. I don't feel that going to fight in any of these other UFC bums right now. They need to rise up. Right now they're down there. I've got this situation where people are truly doubting me, like they doubted me at the very, very beginning. And that's motivating for me. That's what's going to drive me to the gym when I need to go to the gym and to put in that work to get that win.
Good morning, family. Welcome to Coffee and Crypto, episode number 259. As we make our way to 40 episodes away from 300 episodes, I want to say thank you all for being the best part of our show. Thank you all for always tuning in and tapping in to what we have going on here. And for the people that catch the recording, I want to say thank you for going back and catching the recording, because without you, our YouTube numbers would not be increasing as they have been doing over the last couple of months. So I want to say thank you again to each and every single person, all of my friends, all of my family, all of my colleagues, all of my even some of the haters that check out our YouTube channel that really don't like me, that really just want to see me fail. The same way that Conor McGregor was talking about, right? Like, they doubted me from the beginning. They doubted that this stuff was going to happen. You know, people always want to, when you have a goal for yourself and you see yourself about to become successful, people always want to see something negative. People don't ever want to see the positive for you. And I'm sure you've experienced that in your journey as well, especially if you are invested in cryptocurrency. Appreciate the compliment, Mike. Appreciate the compliment. All right. However, people want to see you lose. They don't want to see you get rich, right? Like people don't want to see me in this fly shirt, you know, on the Amalfi Coast, you know, sitting on my 1,000-foot yacht. People don't want to see that, right? So we got to give the people what they don't want to see. All right. I know the saying is you got to give them what they want to see, but even the ones that don't want to see it, you got to sometimes give them what they don't want to see. Right? This is all motivation. You know, it's all for inspiration. The lifestyle that we're going to be living very, very soon is literally going to be for inspirational purposes only, right? Inspirational purposes only. So welcome to Coffee and Crypto Network. Super excited to have you all on our podcast. If you have not joined our Discord group, you know, we have an amazing community here with well over 100 people now. We're on our way to 200 members. I told you all my goal for this year is 1,000 members. All right, and even though it is moving slowly in my eyes, right? I believe that we're moving slowly in my eyes. What I got to keep and remember is that it's all in God's timing, right? It's all in God's timing, and I'm grateful. And I'm thankful to have the ones that have been rocking with me for years, the ones that have been rocking with me for a month now, and the ones that have not even joined us yet that will be joining us here over this year. I want to say congratulations and welcome into the family, welcome into the team. In our Discord group, we do about 6 calls a week right now. We have these 2 podcast shows that we do, which obviously is free. Right? This is my community service hours. People say, you know, people want to know, what do I do for free instead of charge? You know, well, for the people that ask what I do for free, I ask them, have they been on the podcast, right? If you've never been on the podcast, then don't say I don't do anything for free, because I give an hour plus content each and every single week, at least 2 times a week. All right. And we try our best to make it to every show, but sometimes, we're human. And then also sometimes there just ain't no news to really report on. And I don't believe on wasting people's time. So we did not meet last Thursday because the only thing to really talk about was the XRP lawsuit being canceled. And you could have caught that anywhere, right? They was talking about that everywhere. But today I got some bullish news for y'all that I'm really excited about. So please go ahead and share this link out with your friends, your family. Share this YouTube link. You can share our Zoom link to our Discord group. Go ahead and let some people know. Drop your favorite GIF in there and let them know that we're live, directed, in full effect, and we're ready to get to a check on this beautiful Tuesday morning, March 25th. And now it is 10:10 a.m. and it is time to get to this content. All right. So today's episode is entitled "The Crash of 2025 is Brewing," right? And crypto will save us, right? I think that y'all probably thought the crash already happened. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, the crash has not come yet. We have not experienced the Black Swan event for 2025 just yet, right? And maybe it'll come, maybe it won't. But in my honest opinion, in my humble opinion, I believe that we have not experienced the crash that is inevitable, that will take us into the stratosphere, because you got to remember something. They're about to shift all of the old systems in the financial space and even in other spaces as well. But let's just talk about the banking sector. They have a lot of changes that are happening here in 2025. And in order for those changes to happen, they actually have to turn off the system and then turn it back on, right? It has to be turned off because they have to reset the system. And when they reset the system, they're going to flip a switch, and a lot of new technologies are going to go on board. And what you have to remember is this, y'all. This is not, when it comes to XRP, this is not this is not like physical cash where, in order to, like, let's say they were to replace the system with another physical system, right? Or another physical cash or fiat system. What would they have to do? They would have to print. They would have to print a whole bunch of dollars. That's what they would end up having to do, right? They have to print a whole bunch of fiat cash all around the world and start all the way over. Okay. Printing takes time. They would have to print it. They would have to cut the dollars, right? They have to do all of these things in order to refuel the system with a fiat or a paper-backed system. Now, when we move to a digital system, nothing has to be printed, right? The ledgers like XRP and hell, Bitcoin and XLM and any of these other assets that we've talked about on our show, right? You got to realize something. These are digital. And everything, most of these technologies besides Bitcoin were pre-mined, meaning even XRP had 100 billion tokens in the beginning, and it was pre-mined. So they don't got to go and print more XRP. They don't got to do like Bitcoin and go and mine Bitcoin over the years in order for it to, be able to go live. But guess what they can do with XRP? Guess what they can do with XLM? Guess what they can do with HBAR with something that's pre-mined? They could do something called flip the switch. The same way you walk over to your light, the same way you walk over to your light and you flip the switch on or off, they can do that in this new digital space. And so it started to really make me think that our wealth could literally happen with the flip of a switch. Our wealth could happen with the blink of an eye. Because what if every bank, right? What if every bank, and it won't even be the banks themselves that'll flip the switch, but it'll be the IMF, right? The BIS, the Federal Reserve, the central banks. What happens when they go and they flip the switch, and in every single bank that's already connected to the system, it'll just automatically go over into their systems in code. Good morning. It'll automatically go over into their system via code. So is it naive to believe that if they flip the switch and they turn $10 trillion onto the XRP ledger. And today, XRP is only sitting at 100 billion, but with the flip of a switch, it goes to 10 trillion. Do y'all think the price will rise or will it stay the same? With 100 billion market cap to a $10 trillion market cap, or maybe $100 trillion market cap. Hell, you don't know and I don't know. Truthfully, this is all speculative talk until it happens, right? Right. I hope we rise up like the Falcons for sure. I hope XRP rise up like the Falcons. Or listen, even if it ain't the Falcons, hopefully it rise up like the Phoenix, baby. Okay. See, we might have our own sports team here in the NFL soon. We might be so rich. We might, hey, it might be the what city ain't got a team right now? Who need a team, right? Who need a team around the US? Let's think about it real quick. What major city don't got a sports team? I can't think off the top of my head, but if y'all think of one, man, drop it in the chat box. Let me know. You know what? I got you. The Hawaii Phoenix. Hey, drop a 7 if you gonna go in with me on that new NFL team, man. The Hawaii Phoenix. We all got to move to Hawaii now, all right? I'm okay with Hawaii. Okay, Crawbilly. Billy, we not playing with you this morning, Billy. Talking about the Crawbilly said the Crawbilly Cadets. Hey, man. The Crawbilly Cadets is wild, y'all. Hey, look, India, ain't nobody trying to go to Alabama. That's why they ain't got no football team. Ain't nobody trying to go to Alabama. Ain't nobody trying to go to Montgomery. All right, ain't nobody trying to go to Birmingham. And I know they ain't trying to go to Tuskegee because ain't nothing out there. All right, so ain't nobody trying to go to Alabama. All right, but they don't have. You're right though, man. They ain't got no they don't got no football team in Alabama. Okay. He said the Crawdeens. All right. So see, everybody got their own little football team that they finna jump, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to expand your vision. It's okay to think big when you're in this type of space. I'm just trying to get y'all a little bit more comfortable with thinking bigger, right? Why can't we own a sports team? Because guess what? All of the owners of the sports teams, you want to know how they got the sports teams? They either had businesses that allotted them enough money to go in and purchase a sports team, right? Family-owned businesses like Arthur Blank, okay? But guess what? Something y'all don't know about Arthur Blank, who owns the Falcons. Some of you don't know about Arthur Blank that owns Home Depot. Some of you don't know about Arthur Blank, whose name is on Piedmont Hospital right here on Peachtree Street in Atlanta, Georgia. You know, Arthur Blank showed me the vision was real. I'm going to be real with y'all. I want to talk to y'all before we get in this crypto stuff. He showed me the vision was real because for the ones that don't know, I'm a med school dropout. I have a master's of science in public health, and I have a biology degree in science, right? I have a biology degree, right? And when I got in my master's degree, I went to a school called Meharry Medical College, which is one of two HBCU medical schools. Now, Charles Drew in California, I don't know if I think that might be a HBCU as well, but they're a little different, right? But the two is Morehouse School of Medicine, and then you have Meharry Medical College. Now, when I was at Meharry, when I was getting this degree, I used to always say in class, I want my name to be on this hospital. And, you know, I knew Meharry had his name, right, on the hospital. I saw Emory had a name on the hospital. I saw the Vanderbilts had their name on the hospital down the street. I saw all these stuff, right? And then I moved back to Atlanta, and then Arthur Blank, who ain't even in healthcare, right? He just donated to Piedmont so much money. They said, listen, we got to put your name on this hospital. That is a vision for me, right? So I want you to realize that being in this space of crypto, it really allows you to be a bigger visionary. It really allows you to be able to expand on your vision, right? So don't be afraid to dream. Don't be afraid to envision. And don't be afraid to dream so big that other people think you crazy. Because when they think you're crazy because you're dreaming so big, that's how you know, right? That's how you know, right? That's how you know that the dream is worthwhile. So let them hate on your dreams. Let them not believe in you. And you continue to believe in you. And you keep keeping faith. And you keep investing, right? They think we're crazy now, right? Well, wait until I get this wait until I get this 1,000-foot yacht. Oh, they're going to really think we crazy. Welcome to Coffee and Crypto, the greatest morning show on earth. Again, y'all, let's go ahead and dive into this bullish content. Thank you all for being here on this morning's call. And with that being said, let's dive into CoinMarketCap to look and see where we are right now. The crypto market has been sneaking back up. Our fear and greed sentiment on the fear and greed index has been sneaking back into the neutral zone, right? I told you all this was the area that you wanted to start purchasing some of your favorite altcoins, or even if you invest in Bitcoin, right? You wanted to do it down here. We came down here, we saw, we conquered, and now we're moving back into a neutral zone. But will we move back into positive sentiment, or will we continue to push back down? Only time and only fundamentals can tell, okay? Sometimes it's not always about the technicals. Sometimes it's about the fundamentals that are in the market and what's actually happening, right? So today, right now, we're sitting at an $86,732 Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin is sitting kind of neutral this morning. Same thing with Ethereum. We was able to get back above $2,000. We've been sitting around 1,900 for the last couple of days. XRP sitting at $2.42 right now. Okay. And then as you can see, so everything there's no huge increases in the top 10 right now. Everything has pretty much been either just moved up a little bit, moved down a little bit, or has been moving kind of sideways and neutral, which is perfectly okay. We had a lot of sales happen in the market over the last couple of weeks, and I hope you all took advantage to the best of your ability, right? Drop some coffee in the chat box, drop some coffee on YouTube. If you was able to take advantage of some of these fire sales that we've had over the last couple of weeks, right? I really hope that you all did take advantage of these fire sales, because if you bought at the top, the only reason why you didn't buy at the bottom is because you have not established the level of faith that you needed to, or maybe you just don't have the money. I understand some people just may not have their finances all the way in order, right? Well, guess what? There's so many ways for you to make extra income. There's so many ways for you to go out and do it, right? And sometimes you got to, not even sometimes, all the time, you need to sacrifice, right? You have to sacrifice. You may have to go and drive Uber. You may have to go and cut some grass, young man or young woman. You may have to go and babysit some kids. You may have to go and do some hair on the side. You know, maybe you work a job, but you got the skill of cutting hair or doing hair. You got to go and do that, right? There's so many ways to make money. There's digital ways to make money right now. Maybe creators, you got to go and get some followers up on social media and start getting paid from Facebook or TikTok or YouTube. Figure this thing out before it's too late. You can, in today's economy, you can't even afford to sit and say, I don't got no money, because there's so many ways to make it, right? There's so many ways to make it. Every time I deal with that idea of I don't got no money, I sit down within myself and I figure out what can I do, and I go and do that, right? You got to do the same thing. Figure out what you can do and go and do that. With that being said, I want to play this quick video real quick. This is a crash that happened back in the I think the early 2000s. This might be 2008, or maybe it's the 90s, but we'll take a look. I forgot what year this was, but we will probably see the year in the video. So enjoy, and this is very relevant to where we are today. Oh yeah, stock market crash of 08. That's what I thought.
Apple's up more than 6% right now. Google about 3%, but Dell, Intel, Research Motion, and Microsoft are all to the upside. Look how strong. Most of the tech this morning, if not all of them, have just exploded to the down 1.7% here, a loss of 37 points or so. Apple shares are just getting hammered this morning.
We're down by between 3 and 4.5% generally across these markets. Let's talk about the speed with which we are watching this market deteriorate. We're red everywhere, essentially, down by 4-5%. We're down over 16%. Dow at the same time has fallen about 18%. The stock market is now down 21%.
Because we're now down 43%.
What in the world is happening on Wall Street?
Two-year note yields went from 190 to 166 in the blink of an eye. The NASDAQ, everything and more has been completely wiped out.
It was the worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
From the financial capital of the world. The opening bell is going to ring in 5 seconds, and to be honest with you, we wish it wouldn't.
They're working the phone, say a lot of their customers are freaked out, waiting to see how low the Dow will go. They're focused on the Dow, not so focused on OPEC. Yes, OPEC did cut production by 1.5 million barrels per day.
Really, you're seeing just broad-based declines across all of the major technology sectors. Apple's under pressure. Yahoo down 8.5%. Cisco 6.5%. Research in Motion 10%.
And we're not getting the bid wanted. We're not getting the stock trading, and we see where the buyers are. We're just every day they're pounding it.
The heightened financial turmoil that we have experienced of late may well lengthen the period of weak economic performance and further increase the risk to growth.
Can't look at it after you buy it. It's so horrible.
We've had an 8-day losing streak in the Dow that in percentage terms puts it on par, close to the loss suffered in that crash in 1987, close to that percentage loss those 2 days in 1929.
What started in America last year has now spread to every part of the world.
We're down 9% today. The Xetra DAX over in Frankfurt is down by 9%. The Paris market down by 9%. Austria, which was briefly suspended earlier on in the day, is down by nearly 11%.
This market is as volatile as you'll ever see.
Traders say the craziest day they have ever seen in these markets. Veteran traders saying they've never seen anything like it. The movement in oil prices so fast, so fast. Go until the start of trading at the New York Stock Exchange, and stocks are set to kick off lower, a whole lot lower.
eBay is down 6.5%. And really, you're seeing just broad-based declines across all of the major technology sectors. Apple's under pressure. Yahoo down 8.5%. Cisco 6.5%. Research in Motion 10%.
This could be the most serious recession in decades. And that means life, as most Americans know it, is about to change, in some cases dramatically.
Does that sound similar to kind of what we experienced when the market lost all that money, right? A couple of weeks ago, right? The stock market crashed, right? The crypto market was crashing. There was panic. There was all this stuff happening, right? FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I showed that video with you all today to show you that this is nothing new. They experienced this turmoil in the 20s, like they said, in the 60s, in the 80s, in the early 2000s, 2008, right? We saw this happen. You want to know what else was special about 2008? They said that crash happened in 2008. That crash happened, right? That crash happened in 2008, and that was in September. Okay. In November, they had an election, right? And things started to recover and bounce back, right? So it doesn't matter whether there's an election coming, a post-election. When the market want to crash, the market's going to crash. So, and guess what? I have a question for y'all. They talked about Yahoo. They talked about eBay. Now, even though we don't use Yahoo and eBay, those platforms are still up. They're not top platforms anymore. Okay. But they're still around to this day, right? There was a lot of stuff. IBM was down. They talked about the S&P, the Dow Jones. All of these things were down. Oil was down. Everything was down in these crash. And guess what, family? What would y'all say? Would y'all say the price is higher today? Even though it was down back then, is the prices higher today in the Dow Jones than they were in 2008? Right? Aren't they still higher today than they were in 2008? So it just shows me the statement that I've made time and time here, saying that time in the market is better than timing the market, right? We all, as retail investors, we focus so much on trying to time the market, trying to figure out, like Double Dutch, when we're going to jump in. Well, ultimately, you should just spend more time in the market. You got to spend more time in the Double Dutch ropes. Okay? You can't run away from this. Okay? So that was the first video that I wanted to share with you all. Now, I want to take you all to another video from the CEO of BlackRock, Mr. Larry Fink. Pay attention.
Power grid and building out infrastructure. There are so many opportunities here to invest. And so, yes, it's upsetting to watch the markets right now and the fear of tariffs and other things. And look, would I be surprised? And I don't want to be, this is not webcast, is it, guys? I would not be surprised to see elevated inflation over the next 5 months. I would not be surprised to see, and across every CEO I talk to, we're starting to talk about a more fearful economy going on right now, and a lot of it is that fear. But I do believe this is going to be more short term. Once we understand the policies, once we become more accustomed to it, but having an economy fall 7% after the dramatic rise in our equity markets over the last 3 years is a blip. The question is it going to fall another 8% from here? And that's a possibility. It's a buying opportunity.
Come on.
Over the long run. And so I really am trying to tell everybody, when markets fall, it is time for you to reassert your buying, not running away from it.
Come on.
Every time, when you think about all the people who panicked during COVID, when you think about all the people who panicked during the financial crisis,
2008.
I mean, I could go on and on throughout my career. But those who invested during the height of fear were the biggest beneficiaries of that market setback. And we should not be surprised in having a market setback. We've had really an unbelievable 3-year run. The market can test itself and reorient itself. And then I do believe over the next 5 years, markets are going to be higher. And because I do believe in the opportunity in this country. And, and we write about it at BlackRock. The magnificence of the U.S. capital markets makes the United States exceptional and beyond any other country. We have a strong banking system. Hear from Jamie after lunch today. And we have the largest capital market system in the world. So if you have a great idea as a startup, you're going to get capital. You can't get that in any other country in the world.
Wow. All right. So, again, these billionaires and some trillionaires, okay, because there are trillionaires out here. I don't know if y'all knew, but there are trillionaires. They just haven't told us yet, right? It's not time. But the crypto market is going to create so many trillionaires, right? I need y'all to realize that. There's already Bitcoin multi-billionaires in Bitcoin, right? And when Bitcoin continues to increase like gold or the S&P, when XRP reaches these price points, and there are people that own 1 million XRP. There are people that own 1 million. There's 100 billion of them. There are people that own 10 million XRP. The same way that there's people that own 10 million bank so. It only costs you like if you got 10 grand to throw at something, at a project, you can go throw that at one project, like something like that, and go and get millions and millions and millions of coins. And when it starts hitting pennies, you're just making money like you never imagined before. There are people like that out there. Okay. To think there isn't is to be very naive. Okay. Let's keep going. So if you all haven't heard, Truth Social, which is Donald Trump's company, they've announced that crypto.com will be the exclusive partner of Truth Social for 3 ETFs, including a Bitcoin ETF, a Bitcoin/ETH ETF, and a first of its kind ETF basket of cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, Crow, and XRP. Okay, this was listed directly on crypto.com's Twitter page. And it's all over the internet right now that Donald Trump is going with crypto.com as the platform. They have an arena in Los Angeles, right, where the Lakers play, one of the largest teams, the Lakers and the Clippers. Both teams play at this arena. So 2 sports teams play at this arena, some of the largest concerts in the world. This arena has the most money go through it. It used to be called the Staples Center. Now it's the crypto.com, or the XRP arena, the crypto.com arena. I like the XRP arena though. Wouldn't that be a nice ring to it if there was an XRP arena, right? Now, so that's that, right? So we're seeing how American companies are being put at the forefront. Crypto.com is an American company, right? And it was put at the forefront by Donald Trump. There's a convention and a conference coming up. We always cover this conference when they have it. This is their next one they're having. They had one last year. We covered it. We're going to cover it again this year. But this is the Digital Euro Conference. Okay, the Digital Euro Conference. This conference will be going down in Frankfurt, Germany, it looks like, on March the 27th. So in 2 days. Okay, guess what? They're going to be exploring the newest advancements in central bank digital currencies, stable coins, commercial bank money tokens, and the future of money. Okay. And so as you can see, these are the people that'll be sitting in the room. These are pictures from last year's conference, I'm sure, or maybe a year, maybe some years before that. But as you can see, that these are all central bankers, right? These are some of the you got, look at, and if you look right here, this is from last year. You got the Digital Euro Association. Look at this, y'all. Frankfurt School of Blockchain Center. And right in the middle of all these, y'all see this company right here? Ripple. Wow. Ripple sitting, and look at this, Ripple sitting in the background. The only crypto company sitting in the background is Ripple. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. It's right here. It's right here underneath our nose. So I want to scroll down to a little bit. They're talking about the future of money, CBDCs and stable coins. They're talking about tokenized commercial bank money, right? Tokenization. And we're talking about all this stuff, right? Over those 2 days. Okay. Now I want to take y'all down to these are all the speakers that'll be speaking. They're from some of the largest banks in the world. Standard Chartered Bank, right? Just everywhere, right? SAP, Swift, the head of innovation at Swift will be there speaking, right? Who else? It's just, I don't got to go through all these companies, but it is the largest companies, the largest institutions, the largest, what else? Universities in the world will be here on stage speaking. Here are some of the speaker affiliations, right? You got Ernst Young, Accenture, KPMG, R3, Deloitte, right? We got Ripple. Look at that. Ripple is right here on there. You got Circle, okay? You got all these banks, you got the IMF, which we just talked about. You got the European Central Bank, right? Bank of Korea, Bank of France, Bank of Brazil, Bank of Turkey, Bank of Georgia, Bank of Swift, Standard Chartered, okay? Every single central bank around the world, dang near, will be here, right? The tickets are all sold out, right? If you look right here, y'all, $799 in euros just to sit in the room, right? Everything's sold out though, okay? So I just wanted to show you all this conference is happening to show you that things are moving ahead, and these elites, the elites of the world, they're meeting without us. right? And these are things to ensure our investments. Ripple would not be behind these people if they're not going to be a huge part of this space. Okay, you better believe that. So Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, said, as I said today on Mornings with Maria, I strongly believe we are underestimating what it means to unlock the U.S. market through upcoming crypto legislation, as well as previous guidance / statements rescinded from the SEC and Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, allowing financial institution FIs to work with crypto. With 4+ years of headwinds behind us, the U.S. is ready to reclaim its leadership position. The U.S. has let other countries catch up, right? They really have. They've let other countries catch up. Well, guess what? Now that changes. Let me play this video for y'all from the interview from Mornings with Maria with Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple. Enjoy.
Welcome back. Let's check crypto prices this morning. Take a look. They're higher across the board. The Securities and Exchange Commission has ended its investigation into crypto exchange Ripple, the latest, of several deregulation actions by the Trump administration in the digital asset sector. Joining me now is the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, back with us. Brad, great to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
It's great to be back. Nice to see you.
Hey, he ain't like that. Y'all, I wish y'all see Brad. Wait, before we even get started, y'all got to see Brad's face when he came in. He ain't like what she said. Watch this.
Back with us, Brad.
Look at her. Because she called it a crypto exchange. She said that we're not an exchange.
Great to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
It's great to be back. Nice to see you.
Well, congrats on this move by the SEC. What does this enable you to do at this point?
Look, thank you. Congrats to, I think, the whole industry in a bunch of ways. As you know well, Ripple is really amongst the very first crypto companies to get sued by the SEC. We said then when it started that the SEC was going to be on the wrong side of the law as well as on the wrong side of history. It took longer than we would have liked to kind of prove that out, and more than $150 million of legal bills, but we're thrilled with the ultimate outcome. It allows us to really unlock the U.S. market, which has really been very hostile, with a lot of headwinds in the U.S. market for the whole crypto industry.
Yeah, for sure. And we saw investors react to it, XRP seeing a gain over the last week. But Brad, I want to get your take on what Japanese banks may be preparing to do in terms of adopting XRP. What can you tell us about the growth story at Ripple when you look across the world, overseas markets?
Well, once the United States government filed suit, we really were kind of frozen in the U.S. market. And so about 95% of our customers today, Ripple's customers, are non-U.S. financial institutions. And those are some of the largest financial institutions, ranging from HSBC and BBVA to payment providers you wouldn't necessarily have heard of. Markets like Japan, I think, are still unlocking. The market opportunity here is massive. You have trillions of dollars flowing cross-border globally. It's still largely dominated by the SWIFT network, if you will. And that's architecture. That's a technology architecture that's developed 50 years ago. There's an opportunity to modernize. That takes time, particularly when you have a government in the U.S. kind of combating that innovation. But that's changing now. The Trump effect, if you will, is profound. You're seeing that in asset prices, but you're also going to see that in the adoption of these technologies.
Yeah, and I think so. When you're looking at the growth story then of Ripple, does it still come from overseas, or are you expecting a change in terms of domestic interest in Ripple?
Well, we're definitely already seeing a change in the domestic interest. The 6 weeks after President Trump was elected, we signed more deals in the United States than we had in the previous 6 months.
Wow.
So these are very innovative technologies. I think they're going to play out over 10, even 20 years in terms of how they integrate and rewire the financial infrastructure of the United States. That's across payments. That's across even the settlement of maybe real estate transactions, securities transactions. So I think we're going to see this play out over a long arc. But then the United States is finally unlocked, and I think people are underestimating how big that change is, and you'll see that continue to play out this year.
Yeah. Now, President Trump spoke at the Digital Asset Summit in New York City last week. Here's a clip. Watch.
Pioneers like you will be able to improve our banking and payment system and promote greater privacy, safety, security, and wealth for American consumers and businesses alike. You will unleash an explosion of economic growth, and with the dollar-backed stablecoins, you'll help expand the dominance of the U.S. dollar. I can already see that the energy and passion of the crypto community is the kind of spirit that built our country, and it is exciting to watch as you invent the future of finance. It's going to be right here in the USA, the good old USA. Together, we will make America the undisputed Bitcoin superpower and the crypto capital of the world.
And the president signed 2 executive orders as part of his pro-crypto agenda, including strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology and establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve and U.S. digital asset stockpile. Brad, give us your outlook and really what those 2 executive orders may do. What else do you need to see in order to see stability and growth out of digital assets?
Well, look, in terms of what else we need to see, I think what the president has already done is he has used the expression, promises made, promises delivered. The unlock for U.S. financial institutions is absolutely happening. Banks that were really hesitant and really nervous about touching crypto technologies or even helping their customers, those banks and those financial institutions are leaning in now. And that's a big deal for sure, not just for Ripple, but for the whole industry. So he has certainly lived up. And I think we will see the U.S. finally start to catch up with the leadership we're seeing from other markets around the world, that they've really taken the lead. And we need to invest here and see some of these U.S. companies thrive.
Yeah, and we've spoken with the regulators about this. We spoke with Cynthia Loomis 2 weeks ago and last week with French Hill. As they craft the regulatory framework, what's most important to you in terms of the regulation part of this? Let me run this. Cynthia Loomis and French Hill with us just in the last 2 weeks. Here's what they said about regulation. Watch.
Bitcoin is a commodity, so it will be regulated by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. Some other cryptocurrencies look more like a security and should fall under the disclosure requirements at the SEC. So part of what we want to do is guide what is a commodity and what is a security and provide that kind of clarity in the law so we can let agencies know who has jurisdiction over what.
In a big developed country like the United States, we already have many, many ways to instantaneously pay for things. And this wouldn't be top of mind, but it will be lower cost in foreign markets. You have, you reduce the cost of foreign exchange, you reduce the cost of fees across borders. And so in some countries where they have an unstable currency, a weak banking system, not a very good payment system, a smartphone app with a digital wallet with a dollar-backed stablecoin is a good way, even at retail, to do a transaction.
Brad, what's most important for the regulators to understand as they create this new framework for digital assets?
Well, look, the good news is people like Congressman Hill, they do understand. They understand how important it is for these technologies to thrive here in the U.S., and they have started to architect bills to help enable that. I very much agree with Senator Loomis. It can't just be executive orders. It needs to be codified with legislative efforts by Congress. We're seeing a lot of forward movement. A stablecoin bill is already going through markup, and I think we'll see that come to a vote in the next 4 to 8 weeks. There's the second one that Senator Loomis also talked about was what we often call a market structure bill, providing clarity that we've been asking for as an industry as to how will these technologies, these tokens be regulated. Are they commodities? Are they securities? XRP was deemed to be a commodity or not a security by a federal judge, which is the opposite of what the SEC had said. So to see the SEC really combat lawfare and to attack this industry and now have leaders like Senator Loomis and really heroic leadership from Congressman Hill, I think it's going to make all the difference in the world. And I think we're going to see both a market structure bill and a stablecoin bill pass in the next 6 months.
In the next 6 months, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, happy birthday, November, December. Merry Christmas. All right. All right. So happy birthday. Merry Christmas. Okay. That's all I heard. Happy birthday and Merry Christmas. All right. That's all I heard. Pay attention. Now so that's the US. Now let's go over to China.
Sort of forward push by Hong Kong at the moment, a sign that trading and crypto could return to the mainland, which of course would be a huge boost for the market.
That's an interesting question. You know, Hong Kong is always the gateway to the Chinese mainland market, and Hong Kong is always used as the lab for experiments, either in economies or in new industries or new sectors.
We know.
From what we run regulated exchange, regulated funds in Hong Kong. From our conversations with the regulators, I think in a way they are trying their best to use the one country, two systems as the experiment. If it's successful, I think there is the possibility the mainland China government will reconsider their stance towards the crypto and Web3 industry.
Do you think that's inevitable? Do you think the mainland government will definitely bring crypto back, or it's still a wait and see?
You know, for a government to have a clear message, it takes time. From what I know so far, our conversations with the mainland professionals and related sources, I think they are now looking at the market and see what's going on in other countries, what's happening in Web3 industries, and then they may come up with their response.
Wow. So we heard the response from the US. We've heard the response from China. If we scroll down, let's go back to my sponsors. Let's go back to my speakers list, and let's see if we can find it. Hold on. I'm going to scroll through here quick for y'all. I got you real quick because I just want to show y'all, okay? That's Korea. That ain't China. All right, that's Korea. That ain't China. Let's see if we can spot it. Was China? Is China gonna be here? Is Hong Kong? Is Hong Kong gonna be here? Well, I don't see that. I see Philippines. But I would bet money that even if we don't see it, I would bet money that the Central Bank of China will be in. Yeah, will be in the building. But again, y'all, that's just my guess. I can't find it, but I thought that would be cool to see if they were listed there easily. Now, in other words, this came out March 24th, yesterday. Okay, Circle strengthens commitment to Japan with new investment and expanded USDC access. So SBI Group to launch USDC on March 26th, which is tomorrow, with major exchanges committing to future listings as Circle builds local presence. This is huge because we know SBI is a huge partner with Ripple and XRP, and now they're partnering with USDC, which is the premier stablecoin company here in the United States, to expand into Japan. This is extremely huge because we know that RLUSD is a thing, but then also USDC. And this shows that there will not just be one winner, right? There can't be just one winner, right? These stable coins will be used all over the world because remember, y'all, the dollar is still the dominant currency, right? The dollar is still the leading currency in the world. And if the dollar wants to continue to keep that, they're going to have to position it through these stable coins to make the access easier, to make the money move faster. And then countries may feel a lot easier, a lot better, not having to pay all these fees to transact in US dollars, right? This is what we are experiencing right now. And so now with Circle strengthening its commitment to Japan, this is huge news as well. Then Ripple dropped this on their page, you know, and I want y'all to see this. institutional DeFi portal. So remember we talked about DeFi, which is decentralized finance. It says in development, a platform to help financial institutions bring their businesses on chain, powered by XRP and the XRP ledger. Okay, from tokenized assets to enabling XRP deposits to allowing XRP trading at all times. This is what they are focused on here at Ripple. So build or partner, access Ripple's network of trusted infrastructure partners, support you on your institutional DeFi journey. Ripple's doing it. And you can, and these institutions can do what? They can join the wait list right there.
I think there will be a day when you won't be able to get XRP.
Did y'all hear him? I'm gonna play this over again for y'all real quick. Listen to the first thing that that Brad Kimes said, digital asset investor. Listen to the first thing he said, because I've told y'all this before. And before he say it, I want y'all to think about this. There's only 100 billion XRP ever created, but then guess what? 55 billion was in escrow already, which I believe is going into the US Treasury. But we'll wait. Listen, y'all heard that here, but we'll wait for that to happen. I believe the 55 billion XRP in escrow, they release 1 billion a month. I believe they're going to start releasing those 1 billion into the Treasury, into the United States here soon with Trump. Because the relationships between Brad Garlinghouse, Trump, and Stuart Alderati is becoming super close. Okay, you got to realize that. Now, and you got Rosie Rios sitting on the board, who was the 43rd treasurer of the United States. Okay, she's sitting on the board of Ripple. I believe as well that there will become a day, because there's only about 45 billion XRP available for the market. So what happens when the institutions start buying it at an unbelievable rate? Listen up.
I think there will be a day when you won't be able to get XRP. That is when it is game over. Many of you haven't been here over the long term. These deep state attorneys, they're all in the same group. They're all there to defend what the SEC is doing. They know that they're having these backroom meetings just like they had in Heathgate. That's what they're trying to do, is through regulatory capture to rig the system so that all of them can stay in power and keep their revolving door in the same bullcrap that has destroyed this country. That's what it's about. That's how they all play the game. And that's why they come after people like us. There's something happening in crypto with Trump taking over. There's something happening that is being missed. And it's forming right before your eyes if you're looking out for it. Let me explain to you why I've been here since 2013. It's all about liquidity.
Wow.
As when the time comes and when everything finally gets turned on, that the utility of these things is flowing through them. At some point, the majority of the speculators will figure out this thing's slowly rising. And now, why would we be on the selling side of a slow rising asset price? Not just going to slow rise, but it's going to rocket. And I think we're going to get to see some crazy stuff into the future. I'm here as a long-term investor in the Internet of Value and what I think is going to change my family's lives over a long period of time. I think I'm right. I think I'm 1,000% right. This is what I believe right here. Once you realize the liquidity is making XRP a slow rising bathtub of water, at some point, the only sellers you're going to have are going to be people who, well, this is more money than I'll ever have in my life, and so I'm going to just sell now. But the people that truly recognize what XRP is are going to realize that this is going to be a slowly rising bathtub of water due to its utility, and the sky's the limit. long, strange trip it has been. I think this is a game changer.
Today, moving money between networks, you can't send money from PayPal to Venmo, cross-border international payments. The friction is high, the cost is high. Ripple aspires to really enable that internet value to let value move seamlessly across borders. We will see that future by leveraging technologies like crypto. And I'm very optimistic about the future of it. Because eventually we'll get regulatory clarity here in the United States, the largest economy in the world.
Trump will usher in a new era of crypto-friendly policies and legislation during his first 100 days. What's that mean to you?
XRP to the moon, baby. That's what that means to me. That's what that means to me. A $10,000 XRP price is inevitable. You better believe that. A $10,000 XRP price. I need y'all to think about it. Bitcoin is crazy. And that is, and they created that maybe here in the US, but we don't know where that's from. Ethereum is not from the US. It's from China, right? It's from China. So if Ethereum made it to $4,000, we have not seen an American-based company besides Solana, but we have never seen an American-based company reach, well, not even Solana. We've never seen an American-based crypto company reach $1,000. Do y'all not think that America's not worthy to have at least 1 liter over $1,000 a coin? Are you kidding me? XRP is that. XRP is that, y'all. I got one more video for y'all. This is on some Hedera stuff, man. Everybody not up on that Hedera news, but you know, I want to make sure that I drop this for y'all on your tune top real quick.
You're looking at the whole BIA ecosystem will be concentrated there. What do I mean by that? So when we're looking at the construction, looking at the roads, the road base, we're looking at using road base coming from recycled rubberized asphalt from our tire recycling plant. When we're looking at some of the other road base, we're looking at the construction waste. So we're looking at using a lot of the recovered material and building the city. We've already appointed the architectural firm Zaha Hadid Architects. The same firm that designed our building is now designing the master plan. The master plan for the city is actually around the headquarters that you see here. So this will be announced in the next 2 months or so, the project. But we're also looking, okay, how can I power the city? So yes, building it, I'll use construction material. But how can I power it? I want it to be a net zero city. So now across the road is all my recycling facilities. So we have our waste to energy has 30 megawatts. We're now building phase 2, another 30 megawatts. And keep in mind, 30 megawatts is enough to power 20,000 homes. So now we're looking at another plant. Also, our landfill is located there. That's going to have 120 megawatts of power. So we'll be able to power the city. Also across the road there's the sewage treatment plant, as well as the industrial wastewater treatment plant. So we'll be able to take treated water and use it for irrigation. So for that, so to create the greenery and landscaping around the city from treated water, power from renewable energy, construction from recyclable material, and then we're looking at, okay, we'll power all our EV chargers that we actually provide to ensure the mobility is in place. We're looking at how to use AI to create a better quality of life in the city. So this city will have retail component, will have boulevards, parks. It will be a fully self-sustainable city and a model of how a city of the future could look like. It's more of a town than a city, but we call it a city because it's going to have approximately 2,000 units. A mixed-use development is going to have some office space. So it's an exciting project. and to be able to work on such a project and try to imagine with the partners we're working with, we are really imagining what that future would look like with all that's happening around us in terms of technology, and the generations that are being brought up in this new age, they think differently. The ones that were brought up in the internet age and now in the AI age. So we're trying to imagine how would they live and how would they, move around the city. And we're trying to imagine that we're also in parallel building a twin city, a twin digital city for this. So we even imagine, okay, should we have digital identities, so decentralized digital identities for every resident of the city, and what value would that person get from having that identity? And this is where blockchain comes into place. So we're starting, and this is where our discussions also with Hedera are coming into place. We're starting these decentralized digital identities. What services can we provide? And in parallel, building that metaverse with it. We got that thing a few years ago, but we do feel, with how the speed of compute and AI, that there's going to be a lot of valid use cases coming up, and so we're building for that now. We're trying to be future ready of these kids that were raised in Minecraft and living in these digital worlds with their friends. When they start working and start living in their homes, that's the environment that they're used to. So we're trying to imagine and trying to figure it out. We don't have the solution, but we're trying to get the city future ready.
Look, I'm done, man. I'm done. All right. Listen, the question is, are you future ready? Are you future ready? I want to say thank you all so much for tuning in and tapping into today's episode. We lost a couple people on the Zoom link. I'm sure they had to get back to work. Thank God I don't got to go to work. Thank God. Thank God I can sit here. All right, I can just be here with y'all. I'm grateful for that. All right, and this is why we invest, because one day none of us will have to work again. Ain't that beautiful? Go ahead, Billy.
I need to work harder. I done got lazy. I done kind of sitting around and enjoying my wherever we are in this world right now. That's what I'm enjoying. Not that I'm rich or anything. I just have some freedom, so I've been taking advantage of it. But I'm gonna tell you what. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking I could sell this set of drums. I could sell this little something here. Maybe I need to take that down there. I mean, seriously, I'm just, I was telling my wife, I said, we could just probably live pretty good on what we have and not worry about it. But if we just bit the bullet and spend another $100 today, maybe on some H bar or some, I mean, who the hell's going to use it anyway, right? But maybe somebody could build a smart city in Saudi Arabia with it, and I could be part of that. Or maybe I could leave some things to the grandbabies who have no idea who mom and dad said, "Oh, come on. What are you talking about? Look, when it's over with, then tell me. When it's $100,000, then tell me." I mean, I want to put a clause in. I won't do this, but I almost want to put a clause in my will from just my grandbabies to have it, and no husbands, because I'm the laughing, the carrying on, the little snickering. I can do without, Vince. But I could just say I love you and not worry about it. But dadgum, man, there's people in my town. Some have listened to me, some haven't. The ones that are really poor really don't listen and don't put their $25 a week or a month into it. But the ones that have money, man, they're dumping some cash in it. I mean, it's crazy how I'm not going to say smart or dumb. I'm just saying the intelligence of looking into the space, whether I'm correct or not, whether I bought the right thing, Zatrick, or not, whether we're spending our time learning about trading and learning about crypto and learning about DeFi and learn how the wallets and learn. We're spending all this time. I'm spending my time learning this stuff. It's like I have spent hours, I've spent thousands of hours learning this stuff. Now, is it going to pay off, Vince? I mean, is it going to pay off? Now, I think it's going to pay off because I don't think I think it's more secure than trading because trading is still a probability, and I know that crypto is still a probability, but it's such more of a guarantee for me just holding instead of trading because I don't have to worry so much about Billy in holding. I can learn the process. I can learn from my leaders and my teachers, and I can have a belief system and put it to practice and then don't touch it. Push the button one time. Kind of like push the button one time. It's the button pushing I have trouble in the decision making after the sale and after the short or after the long, the decision making and all that process. But if I can just hit a damn button and say buy and then put it here. I got one guy spent $15,000 last month on XRP, put it in Robinhood. I told you that story. I told you that story before. Now I've listened to some Robinhood things, and not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying I've listened to some of them, and some of them say you can get it out. Some of them say you can't. Some of them say you can, but it's difficult. How do you do? I don't know. So all the stuff we're learning, guys, we still have to have our own belief system. Like, what do we believe, and what do we know, and then what's the probability? And are you going to diversify? And how do you do it? And what the hell is it? And now we're moving from layer 1 to layers 2 to DeFi to, oh my God, it's just autonomous whatever, and then the AI and whatever. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. And you're a younger man than I. You're gonna see more of it than I do. Even if we both live a long life, you're gonna see more of it. And I have grandchildren and you don't even have children, right? So it's like it's gonna be it's a whole different thing. And in fact, it may even cause some decisions on having, what they I don't know. It's just like it's so much to do.
Yes,
But
sir.
today, if you can't find a yard to cut or some blood to give, which I've never really done the selling blood, I was just kind of making a comment. But whatever you can do today to maybe buy something that you can't get in 5 years because it went up so or it's gone. The XRP, like you said, it could be gone. Even if you don't have money today, take your wealth in your head and apply it to some YouTube or some Vincent or some of our other friends. Apply it to yourself because it's worth it to your family. It's going to live on what you learned today, whether it's money buying something or education learning something. There's an expense to be paid today. Spend some expense today somewhere and invest it in your future, your family, your health, your wealth, your well-being, your vehicle, your house, your moving plan, your grandkids. I mean, you're investing in your future today somehow. How are you going to invest today, right? Yeah,
Yes.
that's me, brother. That's my little hey today. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm learning too, brother. I'm investing and learning too, just like you.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that, Billy. Speaking of investing to learn, I just wanted to pull this up for y'all before you get up out of here, especially my YouTube family. I know some of you all are looking, you're on the prowl, you're searching for who you can learn from. How can you learn all this stuff so fast? Because you hear us talking about it took us this years and stuff. Well, the good thing is here at Coffee and Crypto, we truly do care and value education. So we have another boot camp. We're already on the second week, going into the third week of our current 6-week boot camp. So we really only have 3 more weeks left after next week's boot camp. And the 6-week boot camps go by very fast, y'all. Okay. Our next 6-week boot camp will be going down. We're going straight back into it. It will be going down on April 28th through June the 2nd. Okay. This is our Crypto GOAT 6-week boot camp. Okay. We do have early GOAT prices. I know some people say early bird. I call it early GOAT. All right. And you know, early GOAT gets the float. You know, the early GOAT gets the float. So if you want to save $1,000 on this boot camp, because if I go up here, the regular price is $19.97. I will be dropping this flyer soon, but as of right now, for the next 10 people, I do have early GOAT prices where you can save $1,000. It'll be $9.97. You can actually start making payments on it now, so that when that Monday, April 28th gets here, you'll already be at least more than halfway paid up, or at least halfway paid up, and then you can continue to make your payments. But you can make a down payment, a deposit on the $9.97. Again, y'all, I have 10 spots, or these will go off and it will be regular price within the next 2 weeks. So this promotion will be live for 2 weeks. And then after 2 weeks, the prices will be $19.97, whether I sell out the 10 or not. It will be $19.97. You can learn everything from A to Pay, okay? Literally from start to finish about cryptocurrency and digital asset investing here at the Coffee and Crypto Network at our 6-week GOAT boot camp. If you are interested, you can text me the word GOAT right now, okay? At least let me know you're interested so I can hold your spot. It's 678-460-6504. Again, my phone number is 678-460-6504. Okay, you can text me GOAT to that number, 678-460-6504. You can text me GOAT right now, and I can save your spot. I promise you, this may be the last boot camp before we go into this bull run, because after June, we're going to be moving into the third quarter. Okay, we're moving into the second and the third quarters, and we know that crypto during the bull run really gets started in the third and the fourth quarter. So this will be probably one of the last boot camps that will be very important for you to be able to learn everything you need to get into these projects, to get staked, to get everything you need to take full advantage. You can text me again at that number, the word GOAT, and I will put you in on one of those 10 spots. But with all that being said, I want to say thank you all so much for being the best part of our show. And I'm looking forward to Thursday's call, where we'll be going into our next episode, moving into 260. Okay. Thank you all so much, and have an amazing rest of your day.